ladies and gentlemen. We have a special program. We're coming to you live from Cebu, Philippines, the province of Cebu, Philippines. And we're going to live stream President Rodrigo Roa Duterte's first appearance at the ICC, International Criminal Court hearing. It is going to happen momentarily. I have everything set up, ready to go, and I'm streaming it live from the ICC's website. So I would ask that you bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm waiting on the uh, proceedings to happen. Um, so while we're waiting, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, former President Rodrigo Duterte, Roa Duterte rather, was arrested on the 11th of March and at the Nino Aquino International Airport by the Interpol, and the Interpol carried a warrant of arrest from the International Criminal Court in Hague, which is the Netherlands. This arrest was uh, issued due to the former President Duterte's war on drugs and human rights violations, basically. And so he's now in custody in a detention center at the ICC in the Netherlands in Hague. He has a lot of people around him. His daughter flew over there, and also his daughter Sarah Duterte flew over there, and former spokesperson Harry Roque is there as well. We are waiting for this historical event to occur, and it is very much anticipated. Checking the live stream website, there's over 37,000 people awaiting this first hearing to begin. Uh, so I wanted to bring this to you live, and hopefully you can hear it when it does come about. This is a very historic event that's happening, and I don't want to make light of it, but I'm trying to bring it to the attention of those of you that can only look at it on YouTube, and I'm trying to share it as much as possible. There are many people that are saddened by this event that's happening to the former president. There are also people that are happy. This broadcast from Bobby D and the Love Train Nation takes no sides at all in what is happening. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, to merely bring you the proceedings so that you can see for yourself what is going on when the live stream begins and what's happening. As you can see on your screen, I'm showing you a shot of the International Criminal Court in Hague, Netherlands. Okay, at the Hague in Netherlands. This court has issued a warrant of arrest for former President Rodrigo Duterte, and he was arrested on the 11th of March on his way from Hong Kong. He had a rally in Hong Kong for OFWs, overseas foreign workers. He attended the rally, and as he returned back to the Philippines, Manila, the International Criminal Court utilized Interpol, which is the international police. They contacted them to arrest him. Now, they could not arrest former President Duterte without the cooperation of the Philippine National Police and the cooperation of the President of the Philippines, President Marcos Jr. So President Marcos Jr. gave I guess, a broadcast indicating that he was required to allow the arrest because the Philippines is a member of Interpol. Interpol requires them to follow uh, their guidelines as far as arresting. if they resisted the guidelines of Interpol, the country would be uh, kicked out of Interpol. And Interpol is important for every nation because Interpol coordinates international crime. And they work a lot with the Philippines because the Philippines, as many of you may or may not know, has been deemed as a center of sex trafficking in Southeast Asia. And so they're trying to get that resolved. And Interpol is one of the agencies that they use. So I am waiting, along with 37,000 other people, to bring you the broadcast live as it comes on the internet. So uh, I just a personal note. I've been on in the Philippines for 11 years. I've been here the whole entire presidency of Rodrigo Duterte. I came when he was campaigning, and I saw the campaign he ran, and I saw that when he got elected, people loved him. He was one of the most popular presidents in the Philippine history of the Philippine nation. So, as you can imagine, many people are very, very upset about this. They are beyond upset, and they're crying, indicating that maybe it's possible that Marcos may have done this. It may be a political issue, you know, maybe political repercussion. Because for those of you that may or may not know, if you don't follow the Philippines, recently, within the last, I guess, 3 to 4 months, President Marcos and the Duterte family have been in a family feud, so to speak. Marcos and the daughter of former President Duterte, Rodrigo Duterte, which her name is Sarah Duterte, and she is the vice president of the Philippines at this time, had a big falling out with the president and got on here and, oh wow, I think I did some videos on that. How the things she said was just terrible. She wanted to do a lot of bad things to President Marcos, and oh wow. But you should look at some of the videos that I've got online about that. Go to the political section in my videos and check it out. But there so many people are thinking that this is a political repercussion against President President Rodrigo Duterte because of it. But then President Marcos Jr. got on air and indicated that this is not political persecution. He was required by law to follow the guidelines of Interpol and the ICC. Okay, it looks like my internet might be a little slow. Hold on just a second. So that's what we're doing, guys. We're awaiting the introduction of the ICC court, and hopefully this will come through soon. It is about approximately 2:48 p.m. in the Netherlands. Right now in Filipino time, it is approximately 9:49 p.m. And we're waiting for them to come together. While we're waiting, I want to give you some information regarding some current things that are happening here in the Philippines. Recently, ladies and gentlemen, if you know the Philippines, there was another foreign national. Well, let me just back up a little bit. In the last 6 months, there have been notably two foreign nationals that were found deceased. Okay, in the Philippines, and you don't hear a lot about this kind of stuff because I think it's a big tourist country, and you hear that kind of stuff, negativity, it would affect your tourism. So I want to let you know there's been two. The first, this now there's a third one that happened 2 days ago. So let me just backtrack and give you a summary while we're waiting on the first two. The first one was a young man, I think it was 24 years old, from Boston, Massachusetts. This man came to Mindanao to marry a Filipina, and he stayed here. He was here for about 6 months, and he was uh, killed. He was on the island, with his family. Two men approached him and made him get on a boat. They were going to kidnap him. And he fought them in, and they shot him in the leg. They put him on the boat, and they said, well, after they found out who did it, said that he died on the boat, and they pushed him in the water. So he met his demise. Being in the area, Mindanao is an area that's I guess it's forbidden. The United States State Department is telling people be careful not to go there because it's a known area for kidnapping and violence toward foreigners. So he put his life in jeopardy, and he is no longer with us. And we pray for his family. There was another about a month ago now. Another foreign man came from the United States. I forgot where he was from. Came from the USA, and this man was like 54 years old, 58 years old, something like that. Older guy, real older guy. And he came. He had a boyfriend here. He was a gay guy and had a boyfriend here. So they were in Mindanao as well. So they go out at night, pitch black darkness. He and his boyfriend rode a bike, and they go to the ATM machine. The outside ATM machine. Guys, never go to an outside ATM machine. Always go to the malls if possible, where a lot of people are, is lighted, and you have security. But they chose to go to this outside ATM machine at night, and he pulled out cash. And as soon as he pulled out the cash, guess what? Man drove up on a motorcycle and demanded his money. He refused to give him the money, and he was shot dead on the scene. Okay, and left his boyfriend there hollering, and oh, it was a nightmare. I saw the video on it. It was hard to watch. So this guy got killed resisting, and the other guy got killed resisting, and also they got killed in the same place, same city, same region, Mindanao. Mindanao is noted for, I guess, being aggressively negative toward foreigners, and it's noted for being a rebel type part of the Philippines, uh, and for rebels and violence out there towards foreign nationals. Many foreign nationals have had a lot of violence towards them out there. I would never go there. I've never been there, and I'd never go there. I wouldn't recommend any foreign national to go there. One of the major cities in Mindanao that a lot of foreign nationals congregated to is Davao City, which is a sort of big city, sort of like Cebu City. It's one of the biggest. I think it's the third largest in the Philippines. You got Manila, which is the capital, and then you got Davao. Uh, you got Cebu City, which is next, and then you got Davao. I think Davao is the third largest, and they say it's safer there, but I don't care. I'm not going. I would advise anybody else to go there as well. So now that's two. I just mentioned two deaths. There's another one happened day before yesterday. This young lady went to Barak, Boracay, excuse me, Boracay, and the island of Boracay. And we're still waiting. While we're waiting on the ICC to come, give me some updates on what's going on in the Philippines. This young lady came from Slovakia, okay, which is a Baltic country. She was 23 years old, okay, and they found her in an abandoned building, totally naked. And about 2 days ago, her body was demised, just rotting. And they found it was a very, very tragic situation. Again, foreign that we don't know. They haven't discovered who did it or the motives for it at this point. They just found the body and notified the relatives, and they're trying to, a lot of times, especially when a big tourist site like Boracay, they want to really keep that hush hush. But I'm bringing it to you because you need to know. A lot of you want to go to Boracay and when you think it's safe, and it may be safe. This may have been very just not a very typical thing that happens there, but it did happen, and so we should report anything negative that's happening, especially with those of you that are looking to go to Boracay, all of the prominent tourist sites in the Philippines, and realize things happen anywhere in the world. Things happen, and so you need to be prepared for it. You need to be vigilant. You need to look out for what could happen to you and to your loved ones if you bring them with you in the Philippines. I've been here going. This is my 11th year being in the Philippines. Going on my 11th year, and I have had some, uh, I guess you would call skirmishes, but nothing major. Uh, Potential skirmishes, put it like that, but nothing major. Like I just the three things I just mentioned to you. So overall, my opinion is, as far as safety in the Philippines, I would say it's a very, as far as foreign nationals are concerned, I would say it's pretty much safe. But it depends on where you're at, and secondly, it depends on how you do what treat the people. Okay, you treat the people with respect and dignity, they're going to bring that right, give that right back to you. You treat the people in a condescending manner, disrespectfully, talk to them any kind of way, you're going to be treated the same way, or even worse. What happens is people, the Filipinos, do not like to be talked to in a condescending manner, and they will make a way, shake away, take away, break away, find a way to get back with you. And so you come out here, you got to respect the culture, you got to respect the people, and you got to treat people right. If you do that, ladies and gentlemen, coming out to the Philippines, whether you're visiting or planning to be having an expat life like I am, you're going to be okay for the most part. It also again depends on where you go and where you live in the Philippines. So that's where we're at right now, guys. Be careful when you come to the Philippines. I know, and what happens a lot of times when people get here, you see so many smiling faces, so many friendly attitudes towards you, and it's a good thing, right? You like people when they smile and be nice to you. I love it. But behind the smiles, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, could be a frown. Smiling faces sometimes they do tell lies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a smile is just a frown turned upside down, my friend. You know what I'm saying? You have to be careful because you don't know what's uh, on the other side of that smile. You don't know what's going on in that person's head. A lot of times people will fool you, and then after they fool you, they school you. They fool you. Hey, my friend. They're not your friend. They want what's in your pocket. They want what you got, and they'll do it. They'll do whatever it means necessary, ladies and gentlemen, to get what you got. Because many of the people here in the Philippines are actually poor people. They don't have a lot. And so when they find someone that does, and they have this thing in their mind, many of them have this mentality that any foreign person that they see is a rich multi-millionaire. That's just the way they think. And don't ask me why, don't ask me how, but that's the mentality of many average, everyday Filipinos. They think that a foreign person is rich beyond their means, and it's okay for them to hit them in the head and take their money. It's okay for them to just to scam them because they have nothing. That justifies their actions, and you'll find that throughout the Philippines. Okay, so it is imperative that you choose your friends wisely and that you not let your guards down just because somebody smiling to you, and a female is looking real good, and she's just hi sir, mild mannered and just as nice as she want to be, and you like to hear that kind of talk from a female. Yeah, she could be setting you up, mister. Yeah, you looking at me right now, she could be setting you up. You have to be careful. You have to watch your surroundings, and you have to watch who you deal with on a one-on-one, day in and day out basis. We are waiting on a live stream, ladies and gentlemen, for President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. He is scheduled for his first appearance at the ICC, which is International Criminal Court. It should have happened right around 9, but they're very, very late. I checked online to other channels, and they're waiting as well as I am for it to come up. So this is going to be an historical event, and I don't want to miss it. And I would suggest that you stay tuned if you're at work or whatever, and you can't. You just keep your phone, mobile device open, because when it comes in, we're going to give it to you right straight to you, and so you can see everything that's happening one on one. Okay, so let's talk about the USA right now. Right now, while I have you, I'm an American. I've been out here 11 years, and this channel has a lot of United States citizens that watch it. We also have a lot of Filipinos, Russians, people from Vietnam, Thai, all kind of people watch it. But we have a good sizable amount of Americans watch this channel as well. So some things that's happening in America are very, very, I guess, controversial. Right now, we have a president that is going through trying to prove that he can uh, he can be a president and do anything he wants. You know, basically, that's what's happening. He's making a lot of executive orders, and he's doing a lot of things that have never ever even been thought of from a president. You know? And a lot of the things, I don't want to say that everything he's doing is wrong, because a lot of it's not wrong. But I mean, I won't say a lot of it's not wrong. Some of it's not wrong, but a lot of it is wrong. Okay, when you decide unilaterally to abolish the Department of Education, when you decide unilaterally to abolish DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout the whole United States government, uh, EEOC, when you decide to abolish EEOC, Equal Opportunity Commission, for jobs, when you decide to do things like when you decide to fire over 16 over half a million people from the federal government because you want to slash the government down and put your loyalists in there, those types of things, that's just a basic few items. Those types of things are wrong. And so many court cases are being put in on the president right now, and he has uh, elected, or many, many, he has appointed many people of his cabinet that are MAGA influenced. In other words, they're loyalists to his to the president versus the Constitution of the United States. And so when that happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you have people that are loyal to the president versus being loyal to the Constitution and the United States, that presents a problem for the government. The problem is that it becomes a fascist state. Okay, what do you mean fascist state? Fascist state. That means it becomes authoritarian in nature. In other words, one man, one rule, because they will do everything this one man person tells them to do. So we are. If you're an American out there, you are in the process of witnessing changes that you have never seen before. One other thing they've done, they have dismantled US aid program, which is a food program that the United States has been uh, carrying out for since I think 1968, helping people all over the world. Okay, they've been giving people food, life-saving food, medications, and so forth all over the world, and so They stopped it, and the problem is this, ladies and gentlemen: only Congress has the right to stop money that's been appropriated for spending. Congress has the is in charge of the purse of the country, of the money. The government has three branches. We have the executive, we have the judiciative, and we have the legislative, which is Congress. Legislation is the one that controls the purse, controls where the money's been spent and where it goes. Once they make the law, then the president's supposed to carry it out. He's not carrying it out. He paused the money. So this court case is on that. Recently, there was a court that demanded that he start it back again. So he's not starting it back. So what they're doing, they'll be going to the Supreme Court. Question. So the Supreme Court, ladies and gentlemen, is also stuffed with MAGA extremists. Okay, I think there's four MAGA extremists, Supreme judges there, and uh, I think there's six Supreme Court judge MAGA extremists, and I think it's three liberal type uh, judges there. So usually,
All right, veuillez vous
the
lever.
Supreme Court. Okay, hold on, it's coming right now.
The International Criminal Court is now in session. L'audience de la Cour pénale internationale est ouverte.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the ICC International Criminal Court hearing for
Please be
Rodrigo
seated.
Duterte.
Veuillez vous asseoir.
Duterte est maintenant ouverte. Je souhaite la...
Good morning. I would like to welcome everyone inside and outside of the courtroom. Now, before we start with today's initial appearance, I would like to remind you that the Chamber has authorized video recordings and the taking of photographs. Please go ahead.
Je vous remercie, vous avez une...
Thank you. You have 1 minute to take photographs and record videos.
For those of you just tuning in, we're looking at live stream from the International Criminal Court in the Netherlands regarding the first appearance for former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Court officer, could you please call the case? Thank you, Madam President. Your Honours. The situation in the Republic of the Philippines case, the prosecutor versus Mr. Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Case number ICC 0121 0125. And we are in open session.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. I will now ask the parties to introduce themselves, starting with the Office of the Prosecutor. Please pause before speaking and speak slowly to allow the interpreters to interpret appropriately. May I ask you to introduce yourself and to confirm whether the list of your staff that I received prior to the hearing is correct, Mr. Prosecutor.
Your Honours, good morning. The list is correct. Once again, Deputy Prosecutor Manjay Niang to my left, Trial Lawyer Edward Jeremy behind us, Trial Lawyer Robin Croft, International Cooperation Advisor Chantel Daniels, and our very able case manager Grace Go. I'm Karim Khan, the prosecutor.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. I now turn to the counsel for the defense of Mr. Duterte. As everyone can see, Mr. Duterte is present and is attending the hearing via video link. As Mr. Duterte made a long journey involving a considerable time difference, the Chamber authorized Mr. Duterte to follow the hearing at a distance. His counsel, however, is present with us in the courtroom. Thank you, counsel. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. I am Salvador C. Medjaldea, counsel for Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Those of
much,
you just
counsel.
tuned in, we're
I will now
broadcasting
introduce the
live stream
chamber.
for President
By my
Rodrigo,
side, we
former
have
President Rodrigo Duterte, as
Judge
he
Maria,
appears to the ICC
Judge
International
Rain
Criminal
Adelaide
Court
Sophie
in The Hague,
Alapine Gansu, the
Netherlands.
Vice President of the Court, and Judge Maria del Socorres Flores Liera. I am the presiding judge of the pretrial chamber 1 of the court, and my name is Julia Antonella Motok. Now, I would like to speak to you, Mr. Duterte. I'm speaking French, but you are receiving interpretation of what I'm saying in English. I understand that you are at ease in the English language and that the interview yesterday at the detention center was conducted in English and that you did not deem it necessary to request interpretation into any other language during this interview. This said, I would like firstly to confirm your identity. Could you provide us with your full names, please?
I'm Rodrigo Roa Duterte. That's my first middle name is Roa. The surname is Duterte.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. What is your date of birth?
Again, ma'am.
Can we request that the question be repeated? I don't think he heard it. Thank you.
Repetition from the English booth. What is your date of birth? Yes, thank you very much, Counsel. I was asking quite simply of Mr. Duterte what his full names were, and then I subsequently asked him what his date of birth was and what his place of birth is. Is that all right, Counsel?
Yep. Of course, I do. My birth month day is March 28, 1945. I was born in the province of Leyte in the Philippines.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. As a preliminary point. Very well. Thank you, Mr. Duterte. As a preliminary point, it is useful to clarify the nature and limited scope of this first appearance hearing.
For those of you just tuning
Today's
in,
hearing
we are
is neither the start
broadcasting
of the
live
trial,
stream
nor
historical
is it a confirmation
first
of
hearing
charges
for
hearing.
the ICC.
During today's hearing, no evidence will be collected
Duterte.
or presented, and the issues of Mr. Duterte's guilt or innocence will therefore not be addressed. In accordance with Article 61 of the Rome Statute, the Court's founding treaty, and Rule 1211 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the main purpose of this initial appearance is to answer 3 questions. Firstly, the Chamber must ensure that the person who was the subject of the arrest warrant has been informed of the crimes of which he is accused. Second, the Chamber must ensure that this person has been informed of his rights as recognized by the Rome Statute. Third, the Chamber must set a date on which it intends to hold a confirmation of charges hearing. The Chamber notes that your counsel, Mr. Duterte, filed 2 motions, one in relation with today's hearing, and you may be aware that these 2 motions have not been accepted by the Chamber because of the nature of today's hearing. No further discussion on the matter is necessary during this hearing because, as I said at an earlier stage, the aim of this hearing today is to introduce the parties and to ascertain the charges and to set a date for the confirmation of charges hearing at a later stage. With regard to the first point, I recall that Mr. Duterte has received a copy of the warrant for his arrest and that a redacted version of the prosecutor's application for the issuance of the warrant of arrest is public. I will now ask the court officer to read the charges against him. The charges will be read in English. Please, over to you, Madam Courtroom Officer.
5. Pre-trial Chamber 1 concluded that there were reasonable grounds to believe that Mr. Duterte is criminally responsible pursuant to Article 25(3)(a) of the Rome Statute as an alleged indirect co-perpetrator for the crime against humanity of murder pursuant to Article 7(1)(a) of the statute as follows. A. Murder of at least 19 persons, allegedly drug pushers or thieves, killed by members of the Davao Death Squad in various locations in or around Davao City, Philippines between 2011 and 2016. B. Murder of at least 24 persons, allegedly criminals, such as drug pushers or thieves or drug users, killed by or under the supervision of members of the Philippines law enforcement, sometimes with the assistance of persons who were not part of the police, at various locations in the Philippines between 2016 and 2019.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la...
Thank you, Madam Courtroom Officer. Mr. Duterte, I'm not going to ask you to stand up because I know your condition, so I'm going to allow you to remain seated. You have just heard the reading of the charges, which are in accordance with the content of the arrest warrant you received. This means that you have been informed of the crimes of which you are accused. And this concludes the examination of the first point mentioned above. I will now turn to the second point, which concerns your rights as a suspect before this court. I will summarize some of these rights, which are of particular importance at this stage of the proceedings. Those rights are as follows. You can benefit from the assistance free of charge of a competent interpreter and benefit from the necessary translations to meet the requirements of fairness. You have the right to have the time and facilities necessary to prepare your defense and to communicate freely and confidentially with the counsel of your choice. You have the right to remain silent, and you cannot be forced to testify against yourself or to confess guilt. You can also make statements in your defense without taking an oath. In addition to any other disclosure provided for in the statute, the prosecutor must disclose to you, as soon as practicable, evidence in his possession or at his disposal that shows or tends to show your innocence or to mitigate your guilt, or that could undermine the credibility of the evidence against you. At the confirmation of charges hearing, you can contest the charges, challenge the evidence presented by the prosecutor, and present evidence. There will be no trial if the charges are not confirmed or if the proceedings against you are completed. You have the possibility to make an as soon as possible and in detail of the nature, cause, and content of the charges in the language that you fully understand and speak. Counsel, have you understood?
We're listening, ma'am. We're listening, and before it ends, may we be allowed to present a manifestation on the circumstances behind the delivery of Mr. Duterte in this chamber.
Oui, maître, je dois d'abord demander...
Yes, counsel. This is as part of the procedure. And as we've said since the very outset, I need to ask Mr. Duterte himself to make observations as to the condition of his surrender to the court and the condition of his detention at the detention facility of the court since his arrival. If he can please tell us these details.
Two days ago, the whole world has witnessed the degrading fashion in which a former president of a sovereign country was bundled into private aircraft and summarily transported to The Hague. Simple kidnapping. My client was denied all access to the legal recourse in the country of his citizenship, and this all in the nature of political score settling. Two troubled entities struck an unlikely alliance. An incumbent president who wished to neutralize and choke the legacy of my client and his daughter on the other hand, and a troubled legal institution subject to delegitimization and desperate for a price cuts and a legal show today on the other hand. With this in mind, it is not surprising that my client was abducted from his country. ICC private jets do not drop out of the thin air. That jet which received my client was coordinated in advance. The UAE is not a state party to the ICC and has no obligation to cooperate with the court. Yet my client sat in transit in that country for more than 5 hours. I invite the registry's representative to present today in court to explain to the judges exactly how they believe this transfer was anything other than a gross abuse of process. Given the precipitous arrival of my client, an elderly man with debilitating medical issues, hard of hearing and poor of sight, he was taken to a hospital for observation. Only this morning have I met him for the first time with less than an hour to discuss legal issues. I have not been able to present him with a hard copy of the arrest warrant because we were not supplied with such. I have not even been able to explain to him what the prosecution requested when seeking the issuance of the arrest warrant. This is because the chamber only started this hearing. Most importantly, he is not able even to tell you that he has been informed of the charges as contained in the arrest warrant for a reason more pertinent to which I alluded in my written request to this honorable pretrial chamber this morning, and which is confidential in nature. Accordingly, I repeat my respectful request, which was rejected this morning, to postpone the substantive aspect of this hearing to the next week, when I will have the opportunity to sit with my client and to explain to him what a confirmation hearing is and what the disclosure is, and how the prosecution alleges that he committed crimes. I thank the court for its attention and regret to say that I do not have instructions to continue my submission any further today. Thank you.
D'abord, concernant
Thank you, Counsel. Now, with regard to the health issues of Mr. Duterte, I believe that the court has taken specific measures with regard to his health situation, and I note that subsequent to his arrest and when he arrived at the detention center, the court's doctor was of the opinion that you were fully mentally aware and fit, and that you have undergone further checks and tests at the detention facility. And when you broached health matters, that's saying that you were not able to come to the hearing, the doctors who consulted with you were of the opinion that Mr. Duterte was not in a position to come to the hearing physically, but that if he gave a written permission, he would be able to take part via video link. Now, that is with regard to the health matters that you just mentioned. They are very important, especially concerning the matter of age. Now, with regard to the rights of Mr. Duterte, we have before us the registrar's or the registry's report that says that Mr. Duterte has been informed of his rights, including Articles 66 and 67 of the Rome Statute, and that that he is aware of his rights and that he is also aware of the charges against him. We have before us the report of the registry saying that he was also aware of the warrant of arrest in the English language and that he is very well versed in the English language. Once again, you have the possibility of these charges being read in English, which was the case today. I have read to you in the French language the rights that he has, Mr. Duterte, before this court, and I'd like to specify once again that this is an initial hearing in order for Mr. Duterte to be aware of his rights and the charges against him. And then there will be a full procedure that will unfurl leading up to the confirmation of charges that will enable Mr. Duterte to raise all the matters that you have just raised with regard to the warrant of arrest, with regard to the crimes committed, with regards to the charges, and any other matters associated with his arrest, and the matters of jurisdiction of the court. You have the opportunity to do this throughout these proceedings leading up to the actual confirmation of charges hearing. Now, counsel, with regard to your request for two decisions were refused. And this is by dint of the fact that this first initial appearance hearing does not need much preparation, as I have said to you on a number of occasions. I am now going to move on to the third stage, which is to set the date for the confirmation of charges hearing. After assessing all factors, as well as Mr. Duterte's rights, including his right to be tried within is September the 23rd, 2025. I would add that in accordance with Rule 121 on its own motion or at the request of the prosecutor or the defence. Before concluding this hearing, I would like to inform the parties of the next procedural steps. First, I would like to recall that in accordance with Rule 121(2)(b) of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the Chamber holds status conferences to ensure a small exchange of information under satisfactory conditions. These conferences are organised either ex officio or at the request of the prosecutor or the defence. Secondly, a set of decisions will be taken in a timely manner to ensure that the proceedings progress smoothly and expeditiously. More specifically, and a decision setting a time table for the disclosure of evidence in such a way as to ensure orderly and efficient. In this regard, the Chamber orders the prosecutor to begin disclosing today the information on the basis of which the warrant of arrest was issued, and to complete this disclosure no later than within the next 7 days. The Chamber will also issue a decision on the participation of the victims who, according to the statute of the court and to the extent permitted by the Chamber, are authorized to present their views and concerns at this stage of the proceedings. We have come to the end of Mr. Duterte's first appearance hearing. I would like to thank all the participants in this hearing, the interpreters, and the stenographers. This concludes today's hearing.
Okay, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are just concluded the first hearing for Duterte, former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, as he was he is now in the Netherlands under custody and detention from the ICC, which is the International Criminal Court. Okay, they have arrested him for charges of human rights violations and charges of human war, drug war charges. Okay, for lives that were lost. Okay, and that's where Duterte faced charge of his years-long campaign against drugs users and dealers. The rights group says killed tens of thousands. Now I've been here. I was here during the entire reign or administration of the Duterte presidency, and I saw him ran for president. I saw how the crowds and everybody just adored and loved this guy, and I've been through the whole gamut. So now I've seen how Marcos came in, and it's a big difference between the presidency of Marcos and the presidency of Duterte. But we are not here to judge anyone. We are just here to bring you the proceedings. Since this has been a very historical proceedings, a lot of people are tuning in, and I wanted to bring this to you as members of the Love Train Nation. One nation under groove, one love. If you have questions, comments, or concern, I just got rid of that feed, and now we're back on our normal feed for our show. If you have questions or concerns, drop them off in the chat box. We'll get to it. We got Mike. There's Mike was here. He has a new channel called Mike Electronica on YouTube. Check it out, guys. You will be pleasantly surprised. He's a very good instrumentalist. He plays keyboards and a couple of other instruments as well. Check his show out. I've checked it out, and he can get down a real good beat when he gets ready. Okay. Who else we got? Right, the train with poverty leads to one nation of the groove, one love. JT, what's up, man? Good to see you in the house. He said that is a serious court. Yes, it is. It's a serious court, serious charges, and a lot of world leaders have been in that courtroom that he's in right now. So when you do when they believe that or you have been accused of heinous world crimes, this is where you wound up if your country is governed or accepts is a partaking of the International Criminal Court. Now, during his time, during his administration, they were part of the ICC, but they are no longer a part of the ICC. He withdrew the Philippines from the ICC during his administration. However, during the time that he did what they was accused of was during the time that that the Philippines was a member of the ICC. Therefore, they still have jurisdiction over him, and that's why they were able to successfully get a legal international warrant for his arrest from Interpol. Now, He is in the detention center at The Hague in the Netherlands. And it's a sad day for the Philippines to have a president, former president, that was highly beloved by its citizens to be arrested and taken from his home country to a foreign land for trial. Many people here are saying, "Well, he's a citizen of the Philippines. He should be tried in the Philippines." Maybe so. As you see, his lawyer Salvador Medella tried to get the court to hear his plea to bring him back to the Philippines for trial. So we're not sure what's going to happen. The people are going, and here in the Philippines have gone to the Supreme Court to see if they can get the Supreme Court to nullify his arrest or get a TRO, temporary restraining order, in his arrest and bring him back to the Philippines. Duterte has very bad health right now. Has failing health. It's hard for him to walk. He has some vision problems, and as you can see, as he was on the mobile screen, he had his eyes closed, head down, and he's a shell of himself. So I don't know if the court's going to take that in consideration or not, because you got to think about it. Over 6,000 family members, okay, over 6,000 family members are saying that they've lost loved ones, okay, because at his hand, at his direction, for the war on drugs, okay. Now, and at the same time, you have to understand, he was successful in the war on drugs, but at the cost of a lot of lives. Okay? So we're not here to judge. We're just here to bring the program to you to show you this was a very, very historical day. The people here in the Philippines some people are elated, some people are very, very angry, and I can tell you this: you should, for those of you that love the Philippines, the Philippine people in this country, you should be on high alert. Okay, and when I say that, I mean because anything can happen now. The country is very, very divided. This man is beloved by millions, okay, of the people here, and so the country is very, very upset. I met a few people today with one lady started crying, very, very hurt. And then at the same time, I didn't meet anybody for the victims' families, but I've seen them on TV. They're happy. So there, people are having this two sides here. This divided country. You got people that are having prayer vigils for Duterte, and then you got people that are celebrating that he is in custody. Okay, I don't take any sides. I'm just here reporting what's happening, and I want to ask everybody in YouTube land, if you remember the show, pray for the nation. Pray for the people here in the Philippines for peace, and that whatever results would be peacefully resolved, where there won't be any riots, anything of that nature. And we want to make sure that the government is stable, because peace will allow for stability. Okay, so that's what I wanted to bring to you guys. Very, very historical day, and I'm about history, man. Anytime I see something history's coming up, I'm gonna try to get on it. Log on it. So, Mike, thank you so much for joining us tonight. He says, "Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. Anytime I can be of help to bring information to the Love Train Nation, we definitely be able to do it for you." Okay, guys, I'm going to head out, wrap it up. Those of you hit the like button for me and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, you're looking at this on the replay, hit that like button for me and subscribe to the channel. Love Train Nation, one nation under the groove, one love. I'm Bobby D. My wife Lisa D is out, and she's in another room. She wanted me quiet. Normally she would come there and say something to you, but on her behalf, I want to say hello to you as well. All right, guys, that's it for now. This is Bobby D saying take care, God bless, and peace.